Hello, history scholars. Mrs. Olson here. Now, the last time we ended with this slide on the President's Cabinet because we were talking about the executive branch. And today's lesson is going to be on the legislative branch. Now, I am going to back up my PowerPoint lesson to the very first slide so that we can look at the learning target, okay? So, our learning target reads that you will be able to understand the organization of U.S. government. So the first branch of government we talked about was the executive branch, and the second branch of government is going to be the legislative branch. So make sure that you have your pen and paper handy or another window open with a word processing program so that you can record information from this PowerPoint lesson, okay? So, as I bring this up, you are ready to go, and here we go. All right, so back it up just one spot. So the second branch of government is called the legislative branch. Now, the legislative branch is in charge of making the laws or writing the laws. That's why I used capital letters for this subheading right here, laws. Laws in big capital letters. Now, if you know the word interchangeable, I want to use that word. Interchangeable means that you can almost use the same word to convey the same idea. So legislative or legis means laws, okay? So, yeah, they can almost mean the same thing. Legislative branch, they make and write the laws. All right, so here it is. They write the laws, and then they also vote on the laws, okay? And when you vote on something as a group of people, you either agree to pass the law or not pass the law. Have you ever voted on something before? Maybe in your family you voted for brownies or ice cream for dessert. Or maybe on a sports team you voted on what kind of a cheer or chant to say, for example. Or maybe if you've been in the traditional classroom, your whole classroom, maybe they voted on different rules, okay? So as a group of people, you either vote to agree to what was written or you don't agree to it. Okay, so I wanted to show you the Capitol building in Washington, D.C., because this is where our laws are written and voted on. Okay, so here is a cartoony sort of version of the Capitol building. And then I wanted to show you this because this is a bill, right? Before a law becomes a law, it is written as a bill because it still has to be voted on. And here's a kid kind of talking to the bill, right? And what I want you to realize is that the word legislation, okay, remember legislative branch, legislation, and act, and I could have put another word in here, laws, they're all the same thing. So you can use the words interchangeably. They almost mean the same thing. Legislation, that's a whole bunch of laws. An act is a law is a law. Okay, they all mean more or less the same thing. Okay. So more on the legislative branch, okay? Now, here's another interchangeable phrase. I know some of this is going to get confusing, but I just want you to know that all of these can be used the same way. Now, the legislative branch, maybe when you are listening to the news, on the radio, in the car, or maybe your parent persons have it on TV, you might hear the term Congress. Congress and the legislative branch, they're the same thing. That's why I used an equal sign right here. Okay? Now, Congress, or the legislative branch, there are two different parts, and one part is the Senate. We referred to the Senate in the executive branch in the last lesson, okay? So in the legislative branch, pretend like here's the branch of the tree, right? And off of the legislative branch, there are two other branches. One is the Senate, the other is the House of Representatives, okay? And I will talk about each of those in just a moment. So here is the seal for Congress. All right. And there we have congressional chambers where they discuss about the laws and then they make votes. Maybe you've seen this on TV before too. Okay, first we're going to learn about the Senate. And what I want you to remember about the Senate is that they have 100 members, okay? So each of the states in the United States get 2 senators that are voted to go to Washington, D.C. Okay, that's where we get the 100 from. So we have 50 states. 50 times 2 is 100. Okay, now a senator is elected for 6 years. And they have to be 30 years or older. Remember, the president, they have to be 35 years or older. If you want to be a senator, you have to be at least 30 years old, okay? And you have to be a U.S. citizen for 9 years. So, unlike the president, you don't have to be born in the United States if you want to be a senator, but you do have to have lived in the U.S. for at least 9 years, okay? And this map I wanted to show you because it has the different states on it, right? All 50 states. And this happens to be the 2018 Senate map, as you can see. So don't worry too much about the colors. Don't worry too much about the colors. I just wanted to show you that 2 senators from each state are sent to Washington, D.C. to help make and write and vote on the laws. Okay? Now the other part, the second part of the legislative branch, the other part of Congress, is called the House of Representatives. They have 435 members. So remember the Senate as 100, and that's because 2 from each state are voted to be senators. Now in the House of Representatives, the number is a little bit different. It's higher, and the rules are a little bit different as far as how you get to be a representative. So, depending on the state population, how many people are in your state, that determines how many are sent to Washington, D.C. So states that have a lot of people like California, Texas, New York, Florida, those states have more people elected to be in the House of Representatives, and that's where you get your 435 people that are members of Congress. Okay? Now, House of Representatives, you can be in it for 2 years. Okay, remember the Senate is 6 years. You have to be at least 25 years or older, and you have to be a U.S. citizen for at least 7 years. Okay, so the President, the Senate, and the House of Representatives, each of them have different details as far as how you can be one of those positions. Okay, and there is their seal. Hold with me for just a second. Okay. And so this one, you can see numbers in each state. So this says the 2010 congressional apportionment. Apportionment means how many people get to be a representative. If you could hear my toddler, she's singing a song, so I apologize. This apportionment means how many people are elected to be in the House of Representatives based on population. So let's look at these a little bit. California is a big state. They get 53 people in the House of Representatives sent to Washington, D.C. Now let's look at the state of Washington. State of Washington gets 10, okay? Now if we look at other states with lower populations, you'll see that they only get 1. So Montana only gets 1. North Dakota, South Dakota only gets 1. Here's Alaska, only 1, okay? And that's because they don't have big populations. So if we keep looking on ahead, here's a big state like Texas with 38. Florida and New York are pretty big with 27. All right, guys, so I wanted to show you that to give you an idea of how many people come from each of the states to the House of Representatives. Okay. And that was a good spot to end too on that slide, because that ends the information on the legislative branch. Now make sure that you ask me questions if you have them. Talk to you guys later. Bye.